let's get together. Stop all this fussing and fighting. Let's love one another. You gotta help your mother, help your father, help your brothers, help your sisters, help your neighbors and your friends. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Everybody, y'all. One people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, yeah. Separated. Now we are free. That's the way it should be. You gotta help your mother, help your father, help your sister, help your brothers, help your neighbors and your friends. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, yeah. One people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, yeah. One people, one nation, one destiny. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo. Dude like this, reggae's another day, y'all. Move, y'all. Uh-huh. In the olden days, we were separated. Now we are free, yeah. That's the way it should be. You gotta help your mother, help your father, help your sister, help your brothers, help your neighbors and your friends. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Sing my song, yeah. One people, one nation, one destiny. Whoa, whoa, whoa. One people we rise, we're one destiny. What we're fighting for, I don't know. Let's keep on living long and yeah. Let's get together. Stop all this fussing and fighting. Let's love one another. You gotta help your mother, help your father, help your brothers, help your sisters, help your neighbors and your friends. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Everybody, y'all. One people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, yeah.
This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you, so call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Killian Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins firm.
All right, hey, guess what? Good evening. It's 9 minutes after 9 o'clock. My name is Mark Benshop, and we are ready to rock and roll this evening. Thank you. I heard Kadaki Amsterdam this morning on Targeting Bostonian, a great show. You guys should watch it. And Kadaki has his own style, man, but he was funny this morning when he said, click, click. Click and share, click and share, click, click, click. It simply means share the link. Click, click. The Bostonians got their own style by click, 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 click the button, share the thing, right? We got a lot of Bostonians who do watch this show, the bookers, man. You can't say anything about the Bostonians. They gang you up. They're ready for you, right? As we say on the quarantine, they're ready to brackle you. Well, I have Kadaki Amsterdam with me this evening. I'm supposed to be joined by two other guests. So whenever they come on, you will get to see who they are. Hopefully, they are two guys who are not too familiar with technology. So one of them is trying to titivate, as he said. He's trying to titivate. Anyways, look, I don't know if we should begin this tonight's program with a prayer. I don't know how we should start tonight's program. But Irfaan Ali, right? Good evening to all of you guys. Right? And thank you for click on the link, share it, share the link. Irfaan Ali, the installed president of Guyana, installed under questionable circumstances. Here is what he's saying. Religious teachings fundamental for a better society. Irfaan Ali. Now, I want to repeat this. Religious teachings fundamental for a better society. Now, this is coming from an installed president. I disagree with this guy. I don't want to agree with him, period, because it is not his job to say religious teachings fundamental for a better. No, fair government. Any political party that is in office, anyone who is the president of the country, and in this case, under questionable circumstances, they're the ones who have to ensure that there's equitable distribution of our resources, whatever it is. This is not the case. But this man is running away from whatever little obligations he has. And he's saying that we got to pray, we got to religious teachings and all manner of things. And this is the same guy who goes, when he walks out of that, wherever he is, on this tent, pretending as though he's praying. God in heaven knows what he's praying to, who is praying to. But when he walks out of there, guess what? Is back to the political bacchanal, persecution, all manner of things, vindictiveness, spitefulness, all manner of things, right? Oh, gosh, give me a break. I have Kadaki Amsterdam with us this evening, and I don't know if I should ask this brother, a good guy, whether he should start off with a prayer. Your microphone, Mr. Amsterdam. I don't know how he's going to introduce this set. Are you going to start off with a prayer or something?
Good evening, Mark.
Good evening. Yeah. What is your
Good
take
evening,
on
Will.
what you say?
What is my take on?
Take on this? Religious teachings fundamental for a better society.
It might be a fact, but you know they say, practice what you preach. And so if the fat guy Pope Ali is telling us that religious teachings are fundamental to a better society, then since he professes to be a devout Muslim, his religious teachings should have helped him to improve the Guyanese society by virtue of being named the president, head of state, albeit installed.
Oh yeah. All right. So I don't know. I'm not taking that too, seriously. It's a waste of time. This is a guy. Sorry. Yeah, this is a guy who doesn't really care, right? But he's talking now about what is it? Religious teachings, fundamental.
But Mark,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm thinking somewhere in my mind. Wasn't it the PPP government at some point in time passed that was considering the removal of Christian prayers from schools?
Oh yeah, prayers in school. These are the guys. These are the guys who removed, free education at the university level and all manner of things. Yes, those are the guys. Those are the guys. Indeed, Kadaki, you're a wise man. In fact, you're a teacher.
You can pronounce on the virtues of things according to how it suits you.
Oh, yes, exactly. But we're going to get back to those sort of things. And as you say in the morning, on your morning show, and people should look at that, talk the ting, Bostonian, talk the ting. Let's get to the other guys who are on with us because they don't have much time. They have just probably, they have a week's plan on their phone or a 2-day plan or something like that. We have Andre and we have Lyndon, who should be no stranger to you guys. And they're Borbetians. One is not far from the Borbies Bridge, right? Lyndon, I believe, also known as Jambi Jones, is with us this evening. I'm going to forget about all of you guys. Let's get straight to Jambi Jones. Good evening to you, my friend. How are you?
Good evening. How are you?
I should be asking you, how are you?
Well, I'm quite good, but I noticed that there's a lot of light on you. Are you trying to look light-skinned?
Oh, man, don't let me pull an Oscar. We're not at the Oscar, because I'll pull a will on you. Cut it out. Don't let's start off on the wrong track. Cut it out.
No. I got Henry in me corner right now. Don't try nothing.
Absolutely. Henry, yes, indeed. We are here to talk about, good evening to you, gentlemen. Andre, good evening. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, Mark.
Let me ask you to introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are before we begin. To talk about
because nobody knows.
Not yet.
Might be for the dated persons, Andre Wiltshire, who has been actor since in the early in the 1980s, more popular in the from the 1980s. But I'm still acting up to now. I just held a show at the Theatre Guild for Black History Month. Being actor, director, producer, writer, um, in Guyana and out of Guyana currently. And Mark, I have all the data or data as we say over here because I'm in Toronto. I don't know about Jamaica, so I can speak for myself.
Well, all right. This
Thank you
Kadaki.
for your pass.
I want you guys to know where about in Guyana you from, Andre. We know Lyndon next to Kanji Bridge there. We know where he's from.
Right,
But
well,
where
born and grow in a place called Northeast La Penitence.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
Good. I see some people already saying that you are related to them and all these manner of things. Kadaki, I see your good friend Rhonda Lane is with us this evening. She's following you. She's following you. Let's
She's
get to
following you, Mark. She proudly announced that the two of you have made up.
yes, we have made up. Let's get to
Hey,
Lyndon.
just want to give a shout out to Kadaki thereby. Are you getting connections from your prison cell?
Yes, yes, loud and clear.
Good man. They allow you guys calls and these kind of things.
No, we always got a smuggled mobile. It's connections, That's what it's called, connections.
Good. Did you pull the string and let the guys know that you are colleagues of that you know me so that they won't do you anything?
No, I told them that Mark is my good friend.
They will do you something if Mark is your good friend. You need to call my name if you don't want they want them to do you anything.
Oh,
All
they might end up doing even more things. Gentlemen, even though I
Andre,
have you guys.
Andre, you've gained a few pounds, boy.
Yeah,
You're
man.
living a good life.
That's it. Old age, you know what I mean? We all suffer from the new Chinese disease, young no more. That's the new Chinese disease. They didn't talk
Quickly,
about the one yet because
yeah,
they didn't get the vaccine for the one yet. But it's coming up. Young no
gentlemen,
more than them.
yeah, sorry about that. So we're here to talk. You guys are here to talk a little bit about Henry Rodney. You know he would love a little jokes and so forth and so on. And we extend again condolences to his family, his friends, his colleagues, and so forth. You guys have been around Henry Rodney for quite some time, worked with him. Some of you probably end up still owing him money. I know Lyndon probably does, and Andre. Kadaki is a rich guy; he doesn't owe. But Lyndon, let's get your reflection, please, on Henry Rodney, please.
Henry Rodney was missing for a while. Now he is gone to the great beyond, and we know that he's not coming back. But we would have missed him for the longest while now since he got ill. And let me tell you, really, really missed him. Guyana would have lost a real son of the soil and one of the most talented comedian, actor, poet, singer, everything. When it comes to the performing arts, Henry, I like to refer to him as the cultural ambassador of Guyana. I would have tried my utmost to emulate him in most of the things. I tried to be like him in many ways, but you couldn't fill a shoe like that at all. That's how vast his talent was. He was everything that the performing arts could ask for. He is a legend, and even when he was alive, he was a legend. Because in Guyana here, we like to wait until you're dead before we really recognize your work and so on. I wanna think that Guyana would not have treated Mr. Henry Rodney kindly enough. He should have gotten so much more, and it continues to happen. The late great Habib Khan, we could fairly say that he died a pauper in Guyana. That's not good enough, and it continues to happen. But Henry Rodney, it aches not just my heart, but the entire Guyana would, when you're gone, then people realize what they missed. They said they never miss the water till the well run dry. I think we had enough time to recognize Henry and to show him love because he was sick for a long while. And yes, we at the performing arts, uh, his colleagues, we would have shown him some support and some love, but it wasn't enough. Um, Another thing, I don't know if this was Henry's own will, but he was behind this. He was like hidden away. He was not in much contact with the people, his friends and colleagues and so on. I thought that it would have kept him at least a little, happy, a little WhatsApp call. In this technological age, we could keep a little bit in contact, but he just went behind the scenes, back burner, hidden away, and it hurt really, really bad. I was asked so many questions, and I couldn't even answer. People keep asking me, "Where's Henry? Where's Henry? What is he doing? How is he doing?" And I couldn't answer quite a lot of those questions. But I can tell you, man, it's hurting really, really bad. And it's like I'm thinking about my own self and thinking about how we're treated. And, talent like Henry, if I could be 50% of what Henry Rodney was, I'll be a very happy man. And to know that, hearing all these nice things about him now, it saddens me. I'm not at a happy place at the moment, and I'm sorry if I'm, speaking like this, but it's sad, man. It's very, very sad. Henry was a great, a legend. I could go on, but I know you've got other guests here. And it's just that I'm not at a happy place, and with what happened, and he has gone now, and what would we say? All the nicest things, not
That's
good
right.
enough.
All of the nicest things indeed, Jambi. All of the nicest things indeed. But you said something that's kind of familiar, and Henry would want us to smile. He's always a good comedian to me. He's more than just a comedian. But you said something that kind of brought back some sort of memory, and I hope whenever I call at your home that you don't eavesdrop on the conversation. You use a term there that never miss the water until the well runs dry.
Exactly.
Good. I got you. But we'll touch
Yeah.
on that later on. Kadaki.
I knew Jambi was throwing a hint at you.
No, not you can't do that to me. No, you can't.
But you didn't see that little pass across. Let you see what you miss.
That's why I say
That's
never
right.
miss the water. He dropping from conversations whenever I call. Never miss the water until the well runs dry. But Kadaki, your reflection on Henry Rodney.
Well, naturally, when I think of Henry, one word comes to mind: multi-talented. With his passing, I think Guyana was perhaps poorer, even before his passing, from the time he took ill and came off of the performing circuit. Guyana was poorer for that. I said earlier in the day that I am not of Henry's age or of Henry's generation, but I grew up hearing of Henry Rodney. The names Henry Rodney and Basil Bradshaw dominated the Buxtonian community when it came to theatre. Buxton was always a cultural place, and Henry Rodney, Bassett Bradshaw, and the likes, they always were in Buxton performing. Our own Buxtonian John Phillips now is in Canada, I think, and he's trailblazing. Those were the guys who are of the same generation. But wasn't only fortunate to see Henry perform, I was fortunate to perform alongside Henry and to benefit from his guidance and his knowledge of theater and so on. As I was reflecting, I remembered I know for a fact he was a teacher. I know for a fact he taught, but I can't remember if it is he was teaching drama in the schools. I know for a fact Henry and I did a number of shows in Buxton, as I would say in the 2000s. I was just looking through some links and I recognized that 8 years ago, Henry did a show in Buxton called Henry Rodney and Friends, promoted by myself. Right? Henry Rodney and Friends. Jumbie skin in the teeth because Jumbie was part of that cast, and it was hilarious. I think it was one of the maddest shows.
And they got paid.
Of course, they got paid.
Okay.
They might not have gotten paid what they wanted, but they got paid.
They got paid. All right.
I remember as I talk about that show, when I left the village, I had an enemy at least. Right? And the enemy I had was a classmate of Henry. Because Henry poked so much fun at her and her husband that I, as the host, got cussed out. Right? Good. But when I think of Henry, I really think that he was and should remain a national treasure. He certainly has placed Guyana and the performing arts from the Guyanese perspective on the international scene. He is on the gamut, playwright, director. I am sure he would have been stage manager at some point in time. Poet. Certainly, I remember Henry singing. I think Henry has a calypso to his name. And so when you talk about entertainment, local entertainers, Henry stands tall. He stood tall, and I like to see him in the present standing tall among all the entertainers in this country and perhaps across the Caribbean, right? Across the Caribbean. I reflect on a particular play I did with him. I think that was Is We Big People. I had the honor of performing with Henry and his daughter in that play. He as the father, I as her boyfriend. And when I was timid, right? When I was timid, fathers generally might be guarded in terms of the extent, regardless of play or play not. You can go with your daughters and so on. He was the liberal. He encouraged me, he cussed me out for being fearful, right? For being fearful of the female. And I always reflect on that because I think at the end of the day I won. I can't remember exactly, but I think that is the show, the play that I won the best supporting actor for. And so I am rich, if I can say it, for that encouragement. And he's always been an encourager. He has always helped us along, guide us along, and was always willing. Big nationally acclaimed actor, award-winning several awards. And when I say Henry, for the first time I say Henry, I want to do a show in Buxton. Say, yeah, man. And he was excited as everybody else to get it done, right? And one of the things I regret most is I always had in mind that I wanted, because I realized we all were getting older. I had spoken to Basil Bradshaw about the idea. I can't remember if I had spoken to Henry about it, but shortly after he got ill, about doing what I call a vintage show in Buxton with Henry Rodney and Basil, the old stalwarts. I'm really, really sorry I never acted on that fast enough, perhaps.
To get that show going.
And we never get that to happen. But Henry will forever remain in our hearts, I'm sure, and remain tall among the performing artists in this country.
Absolutely. Well said, Kadaki Amsterdam. We noticed that Jumbi is holding his phone in his hand. He's probably running out of battery. His minutes is going because he's on a day plan in Guyana. Things so tight that people got to go on a day plan. I'm almost certain that he's on a day plan. But I've noticed before we get to one second before we get to Andre, I've noticed somebody here wants to divert attention now. Hear what this person is asking. What's the story behind the name Jumbi? Do we have time for that or some other time? What's the story? I've always wondered about that.
Are you asking me?
Yes, not me. I'm not going to ask you that at all. This person is asking you, Miss Simons.
Well, I was an abandoned child from the sight of me when I was born. Mother wanted nothing to do with me. She threw me in the burial ground. Um, and people used to hear this baby cry, and they say some Jumbi in the burial ground. And one brave man, that is who I call my father, he decided to investigate. The cry was too, what you call, real. And he said, no, even in the day you heard this cry. I was picked up on the third day. And that's why a lot of people normally compare me to that guy that rise on the third day. And he took me in. And that's why I got the name Jumbi. Yeah. Story done.
I thought it looks had something to do with the name, you know.
No. Stop it.
The looks fall in nicely with the name.
We're not going to go that route tonight. Certainly not tonight. I think you're picking on me. You're teasing. You came here with an agenda, but not tonight. Remember that show we did with Henry Rodney, and he was one of the MCs as well. Remember that was a lie. You guys never paid me for that show, man. But anyways,
yeah, you didn't have to mention that. I remember that, but you had a lot of revenge on that show because you came on after Rodney, and you hit Henry and you hit me, and you said some terrible things about me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very terrible.
And that was out of vexation, right, Jumbi?
That was out of hurt and pain.
Yeah. Well, I call them vexation. Jealousy is the word.
Nah, it wasn't jealousy. It wasn't jealousy.
Pain.
I gotta be honest with you. It was more pain. Because he found out how equipped I am, and let's leave it there.
Okay.
I'll let this one slip by. So let's get back. I'll let it slip by indeed. Because remember, I said that you eavesdrop on conversation. You're right. Oh, never miss the water until the well runs dry. We'll get back to that some other time. Henry Rodney, we're talking about. He has passed away. We have Andre with us. Andre, you have done some work with Henry. And let's get your reflection on Mr. Henry Rodney.
Reflecting today, my journey with Henry, I didn't know was so much that we did in such a short time. A lot of us know Henry as the actor, director, producer. Versatile is the word that always comes to mind when we talk about Henry. But the other side, he loves to make a good bread and a great cook as well, and very much a disciplinarian in many aspects, and a great father figure, and a very good friend too. The thing is, we followed a lot of times, and there was a lot of harsh moments with Henry, but at the end of the day, he had that humility to come and deal with you, regardless of whatever you pass through, and not a man known to hold onto a grudge for a very long time. And his humility, there is, it's huge. I remember most of the time, because of him being a popular person, people might say, Henry Yard, at the time after he would have done this, agree to agree. along with the Jumbie and others. Um, when they say Henry, he was all right. Pass by Thursday, you're feeding the beggars. You know, he
I
was,
ain't got change.
I got changed. Let's go, yeah, come by Thursday. Yeah, it was such wonderful moments. My first encounter with Henry was the production of Tengar. It was produced by a man who was seen as the biggest producer that time in Guyana, Rudy Bishop, and it was a production of epic potion. And there was Henry and written and directed by Chrissy Jingo. He played the Sultan of Tengar, and the Henry characterization is always, I put him as the method actor. He studies the character in depth, so he brings that character to life, and that you have no reason to believe he is what he is. Then we did a subsequent production. These were for the Burnham birth anniversaries, and then we did a second production the next year that was called Rebellion. Again, Henry Shine. Um, and we did it would have been To My Son a Legacy. Ironically, Henry played Henry was a character in a wheelchair, and we reflected the last time, um, just before the last time I saw Henry, that art imitates life or life imitates art, because here it is, Henry was in a wheelchair. We went along to do several productions at the Trump Card, Club Solitaire. We toured extensively the length and breadth of Guyana. We get robbed a lot of times. I remember when Fox Barnum died, we were up in Essequibo performing, and then the country felt a lot different. And then we discovered that Barnum had passed away, and we had to beg for money to come around. Henry was adventurous. If anybody comes and says, "Look, we have a production," Henry say yes. Sometimes not even thinking if these people got money to pay him. You know, but he enjoyed his art, and he thoroughly enjoyed what he was doing every time that he got on stage. And even during the rehearsal, he would always pull you up, "Oh, that tantalize." The tantalize most times was too much. He had no limit with that, and that is what I didn't like about him, because he used to rub me the wrong way most of the time. But then you had to take it, you had to be a man and take the tantalize. Um, but as we see Henry start losing his energy, even then he was a force to reckon with. I am proud to say that I still have unreleased some poems from Dr. Kwesi Ojingo, and pastor as well, called "I Am a Guyanese," and those those plays those voice recordings of Henry has not been released yet. Myself and Ken Oswald Smallman, we're still working feverishly to get that book of poems out. It's all recorded. We all have it. We have Henry's voice. Even sitting down there, Henry was sitting in the studio and performing those poems to the best of his ability. That photograph is seen there. When I was in Guyana in December, I asked a few people to come along. Some could not make it because the notice was late. Some had other things to do. But there you see Henry sitting, and he was very much present. And I get closure because we were able to see Henry. Oh, and it was such a wonderful evening. Small gathering, but it was such a wonderful evening. And I remember in particular Russell and Castor saying, "This is what we have to do. Don't wait until someone is not here any longer for us to let him know or let her know that how much we value them." Malcolm the Freitas made a moving statement that night, as well as Godfrey Norton. And I think everybody who was there gave, I don't want to say tribute, but give Henry his rightful place. As regards to the support, I know Henry received a lot of support um, from the public and from the community. Could there be more? Should there be more? In reflection, I think so. Remember last time I saw him at Bishop Castle, he was promised, his wife was promised some more assistance by the Minister of Human Services, that when he returned, that she would have done certain things with him, but he did not return. Um, Give people things when they're alive. Tell people that they're important when they're alive. Love them when they're alive. We can go ahead and go on and on and on and on and say this, but then it would only be in honor, and it would be for the ears of Henry's family and those of us who are still alive. It is a serious time, and death can be fast, it can be quick, and it can be very uncertain that we're living in. Stick around, love someone, tell them what they mean, and most of all, love yourself. Take care of your brain wellness, because we don't know what is tomorrow.
Okay.
So we got to do what we got to do. And of course, something has to be established in Henry's name for the number of lives he has touched: school teacher, um, workshop instructor, and we know all the rest, and we can go on and on.
We can certainly go on and on indeed. We're looking at the time, and I know somebody else is looking at their phone. They have some other stuff to do. But briefly, Lyndon Jamie Jones, briefly before you go, any other final thing?
There's so much. Most of all, we're going to miss Henry a whole lot. And we want to, of course, send our sincerest condolences to his family, immediate family, and his extended family, and his theater family, and so on. So on. I'm hoping now that Andrew touched on it a little bit, that something can be done in memory of Henry annually, whatever. So often that we're gone and forgotten. Henry could never be forgotten, really, because he has taught so many of us in a special way. Um, he was the boss,
The boss.
right? We had a lot of fun together. Leather face, um, the Rookatooks, whatever it is. You could Henry. This short program is not enough for us to mention everything about Henry and so forth. We hoping to get to see him before they put him away and things like that. It is such a sad situation. But we gotta celebrate. We gotta celebrate him.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lyndon Jumpy Jones. Please, when you get off this phone, give my warmest regards. Please do. Thank you. With my warmest regards, indeed. Andre, quickly before you go, because Kadaki and I have some other political matters to take care of. But let me get back to Lyndon. Please give my warmest regards.
Okay,
Please.
okay. I wish I could help him give some of the warm yards too.
Andre, in closing.
Yes. Um, to Henry's family directly. Um, Thanks for being there for Henry. I know it was a rough journey, and you stuck with it. You see it right through to the end, and for that we are honored that you have been there for him. So we can all, even though times as John say we could not, we didn't get into him, but he was available, and that we could say not goodbye, but we could have let him know how much he meant to us, even when Joan, under the dire circumstances, brought him to the theater guild, so that we can all have that good little talk that we had with him. Farewell, Henry. As I said, you always love your laughter, and that's what we are going to give you for the moments we spent. It's your curtain call, my friend, and the applause. As a matter of fact, it's a standing ovation. Farewell, my brother. Farewell.
All right, indeed. Thank you guys so much, Lyndon Jumpy Jones, Andre Wilshire. Thank you both so much. And again, condolences on the passing of your colleague and your friend, Henry Rodney. Thank you, Andre, and thank you, Lyndon. And again,
Thanks for the opportunity, Mark.
please give my warmest regards. Please do.
All right.
Please do. Thank you so much. Bye bye. All right, let's get to some political matters now. We just thought that we allow that segment there in reflection of the life and death of Henry Rodney. He deserves more, indeed. And maybe next week sometime we'll have Margaret Lawrence to be on with us as well. She's there in that photo with Henry Rodney, and we see here in this other photo here with Henry Rodney, and as they reflect
That's
on it.
Henry and Desiree.
And it's Desiree Edgell. Yeah,
Desiree Edgell.
I'm getting a little old, guys, so do forgive me. Good picture there with those folks standing with that hero, Henry Rodney. Let's move on to some politics now. What's happening in the country, Kadaki? What's going on? You're on the ground.
What has always been happening? Corruption and chaos.
Corruption and chaos. Things still tight, very tight. Cost of living. What's happening?
As a matter of fact, things are perhaps getting tighter. People are getting more frustrated. When you heard the fat guy called for prayer, usually when people call for prayer, it means that they're feeling the stress, the strain. They're under stress and strain. Yeah, pray for me now. Oh, things are hard.
Things really tough indeed. One of the things that I heard you discussing this morning on your show was the playground in Buxton. Uh, People within the community, sports youths wanting to play soccer, cricket, or whatever else, all sorts of nonsense. What's going on with that, Mr. Amsterdam?
Well, from reports from the president of the Cardiff Cricket Club, again, chaos and corruption is going on over there because, based on his explanation, the management committee, which was formed under then chairman of the Boxing Falls NEC, Dion Abrams, and was doing a good job, according to him, was unceremoniously replaced by handpicked folks, persons handpicked by Ramson to form perhaps what should I say, a parallel committee. And the madness is happening in that some sports are greater than others. Football is the priority, and according to the young man again, Ramsey has made it known that he doesn't want cricket playing on the ground.
Absolutely, and he has some ricketics, some individuals, known characters. I know that's another issue, another night. I will be dealing with that specifically. But Ramson is definitely up to no good. And this is what they do, go into communities such as Buxton, Agricola, in Linden, and they put certain questionable characters to say that they are responsible, but we'll deal with that some other time. Outside of that, we're not hearing much about the petition. It's in the court. We heard that we heard that there was an event, and this is the event where Anil Nandalal was supposed to be speaking on elections petition law in the presence of the president of the Caribbean Court of Justice. And according to a source, the president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Mr. Adrian Saunders, left before this Anil's presentation on elections petitions matters. I'm not sure, but what is your take on this visit here, this so-called courtesy call by the president of the Caribbean Court of Justice? He paid these catfish guys a courtesy call. Your take, Kadaki?
I think it is madness. I certainly think it is disrespectful to the people of Ghana. It is disrespectful to the people of the Caribbean. Because here is the president of a court which has before it an election petition matter, questioning the legitimacy of the very person who he has visited as president of Ghana. One therefore cannot be comfortable knowing that this is a man who has to adjudicate on the legitimacy of this other person, and he is visiting him, paying him courtesy. And therefore, in my mind, Sanders has already determined that Irfaan Ali is the legitimate president of Ghana. And sitting on the bench, therefore, one cannot expect any other decision to be made. And persons will therefore can be faulted for asking whether or not it's a fair decision, whether or not it's a decision founded in law. We have seen the quality of judgments coming out of the Caribbean Court of Justice questioned, especially in relation to these electoral election-related matters for Guyana. And so one would believe that a quote-unquote learned judge would have better judgment than to allow himself and the court which he represents to be exposed in such a way. I was sharing with some friends today that immediately the opposition or the plaintiffs, the parties in this matter ought to start protesting, writing, and asking that Sanders recuse himself from this matter. But it was also pointed out to me, yes, as president, he may recuse himself if demanded to, but he also will continue to have that influence upon the court because he's president. And so justice must not only be done, but it must appear to have been done.
All right. I think the CCJ, according to Ali and Waldron here, well, we've noticed Gary Greenidge is saying here that that Ramjatan said he doesn't see anything wrong with Sanders visiting the PPP cabinet. That's according to Ramjatan. Ramjatan seemed to see turn his eyes in the other direction these days for questionable reasons. Aliyah Waldron here is saying, Mark, the CCJ has made a statement saying that Sanders intended to meet with the leader of the opposition, but that cannot be facilitated because the post is vacant. Of course, I don't know. I haven't seen that statement.
The reality is, Mark, let me jump in here.
You have other members. Sorry, Kadak, you have the chief whip. You have other members of parliament. You have leader of the opposition parties in parliament. So that's a lame excuse. I don't buy that. Kadaki, you were saying
the thing is, Sanders should not have been meeting, even if there is the leader of the opposition. Sanders should not be meeting with any of these contesting parties. That is common sense. These are two people who have a matter before me or before the court which I preside over. Right? I should stay clear of them. Sanders should not even be in Guyana.
But you know, that is so true. I mean, I'm not saying that he should not be if he's invited, because they are Supreme Court justices of the United States, are invited to public events. And of course, they got to screen these events that they attend. And at times when you attend public events, you are bound to run into maybe politicians, run into talk show hosts. You may run into Kadaki, David Hines, whomever you may run into these individuals. And judges are the same. And so if they're invited to a private event, the Guyana Bar Association is not a legal entity. They're not there to represent attorneys. It's just a group, an organization, maybe a rum drinking group. I don't know. But they have no legal standing in the country. They do not represent lawyers. But and if Justice Sanders or any other judge or magistrates attend a public function and they run into the leader of the opposition, whenever we have one, or they run into the leader of the PNC or the leader of the AFC or whoever is the head of the PPP or whatever, that's quite okay. But to specifically schedule yourself to meet with these individuals, it's another story. But Ramjatan seemed not to have a problem with that. And I have a problem with Ramjatan not having a problem with that, or not seeing a big problem with that. But we'll talk about that some other time. Look, Kadaki, what is it? 4 CARICOM member states. 4 CARICOM member states. Out of how many do we have? 15 members. The Caribbean community is a grouping of 20 countries, 15 members, and 5 associate members. All right? So this is what we're looking here now. 15 members and 5 associate members. But look at this here now, Kadaki. Are you comfortable with this? That only 4 of those countries, CARICOM countries, Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and Guyana, are party to the CCJ. In other words, the Caribbean Court of Justice is their final jurisdiction. Final jurisdiction. All the other CARICOM countries, their final jurisdiction is the Privy Council. Are you surprised that only 4 countries?
Well, yes, I'm surprised because we like to talk about the CARICOM as single economy and single market and as a community and so on, as a block of countries. And so if you have out of 15 full members, only 4, that is just a little over 25% supporting the Caribbean Court of Justice. The question should be asked is this really representative of us? Right? There's a majority rules, and if the majority of members are saying this thing is not the worth the paper that it's written on, then quite frankly, I don't know why 4 should be what should I say, propping it up with the membership. And so yes, it is a concern. And when you look at its rulings, when you look at its rulings in the Guyana electoral and other matters, it brings into further questioning what really is the role of the Caribbean Court of Justice. Is it to dispense justice, or is it another political tool that goes to the highest bidder?
Indeed, we can say another political tool that goes to the highest bidder. The budget for the CCJ last year alone, I believe, was $174 million. Are we getting justice from the Caribbean Court of Justice? Are we getting that? 4 members. I'm not convinced that we are getting justice, because they are just not. And this is not painting all the judges, all the justices with the same brush. But what Saunders did is unforgivable. Unforgivable what this guy Saunders did, because they have elections, petitions matter. At the CCJ, he may have to recuse himself, obviously, from these cases, just like in the U.S. Supreme Court, you have Justice, this guy here, man, who's just a waste of time there, Justice Clarence Thomas. He had to recuse himself in matters, and he will have to recuse himself in other cases concerning Donald Trump because of his wife and her friendship and other jiggery-pokery stuff on January 6th. But lots of things, Kadaki, I know it's almost your bedtime there. This is Saunders, his message there. And I'm told that we have a Guyanese who is also at the Caribbean Court of Justice. She's the registrar. She's the registrar and chief marshal, Ms. Jacqueline Graham. Good evening to you, Ms. Graham. But a lot of you going back to CARICOM, right? This is just a reminder that CARICOM came into being on July 4th, 1973, with the signing of Treaty of Chagaramas by look who? Prime Minister Errol Barrow of Barbados, Forbes Burnham of Guyana, Michael Manley, Eric Williams, and so forth and so on, since back in 1973. And it's such a disgrace that we have now a Caribbean Court of Justice with only 4 CARICOM members, and the budget for that is almost $220 million per year. Kadaki, before we go, 2 other things, sir, that's in Guyana bothering the people. What's happening? Are we seeing enough being done by the opposition?
Well, I think the opposition is quote unquote coming to come. We like to say they're coming to come. Not enough being done, but they are certainly more active now. We see the recent release of letters, which will see Aubrey Norton go into the National Assembly, Val Lawrence into the National Assembly. A lot of people are placing their bets on the presence of Aubrey in the National Assembly and him becoming leader of the opposition. They believe more will be done. But certainly from that camp, the PNC camp, you see a lot of movements. Aubrey has been going out into the communities and so on. In terms of the other partner in the opposition, well, the opposition is wider than the PNC and the AFC, quite frankly, but they are the 2 major partners right now. A lot is left to be desired in terms of the utterances that are coming out of the AFC, quite frankly. The Ramjatan, who is perhaps the head honcho right now at the AFC, has really been making some strange utterances, to say the least. And that leaves a lot to be desired. It gives the impression that the opposition is not singing from the same book. Even if they are in the same book, they are different hymns.
Different hymns indeed. Different hymns indeed. And we started off by saying that Irfan Ali is he's saying that religious teachings fundamental for a better society. Not necessarily true. It shouldn't be coming from Irfan Ali. Once you're head of a government, whether installed through rigged means or whatever, democracy, practice of democracy is fundamental for a better society, fair and just country. We're not seeing that. And so he's jumping to the religious, some of the so-called religious leaders. They are legitimate ones, I suppose, but a lot of fake ones also. And look at him standing there. God in heaven knows. I don't know, man. These guys are just ridiculous. But we're looking at the time. I know you have your big show tomorrow. You also have a show coming up sometime around Easter in Buxton. Talk a little bit about that and let the people go out, buy tickets, and support this show. What is this show about that you have in Buxton, sir?
Well, the name Countryside Laugh is one created by me since. Listen, I've always been in theater. I mentioned talking about Henry of being in theater. My first play on the national scene at the National Cultural Center was written and directed by Ronald Hollingsworth. Extremely popular play. Watch the Ride. Watch the Ride 1, as we like to see. And coming out of Watch the Ride, I would have had the opportunity to do other plays, lots of plays which Buxtonians have not had the opportunity to view by virtue of not being able to go to the cultural center, etc. And I thought that, as part of giving back to the community, bringing entertainment back to the community, nice family type entertainment, I'd start to host concerts, because concerts had actually died away from the community for a long time. And so I came up with a Countryside Laugh name, brand name, whatever you want to call it. And I started hosting concerts under that name. And so this one, which is coming here, is just another one of those Countryside Laughs. The featured play for the evening is The Lottery. And that features Sonia Yard, who again have had the opportunity to work with in theater. Sonia Yard, Paul Bodner, and Frederick Minty, right? A play that is written again by Ronald Hollingsworth and Sharon Cadogan, and it's directed by Sharon. Along with that featured play, you're going to have stand-up comedians. You have in the house Mark Luke Edwards. There's no question that he is one of Guyana's leading, if not the leading, current leading comedian, Mark Luke Edwards, and Michael Credit Ignatius. Those are the comedians in the house of the night. You're going to have some poetry, you would have songs and things. And I encourage everybody. It's going to be a nice evening for
what day is that again?
It's the 23rd, Saturday, the 23rd of April, which is the Saturday after Easter. It's the Saturday immediately after Easter.
Yeah.
Tickets are $1,000. We have a few remaining, and you can get tickets from myself. You can call, and I'll tell you who else you can get tickets from. But if you're passing through Buxton as of tomorrow, you should be able to stop at Zion Gate and get tickets. Zion Gate is at the junction of the public road there and Church of God Road. As many people would say, Rastaman or Rasta Troy shop, right where you stop. You always stop there for Benjamin's Bread and so on. Pick up your tickets. It's $1,000 each.
Yeah, go out there and support this event. Buy your ticket from that bread stand. I know that bread stand very well. A good baker. Give my regards to Rastaman. And I wish I was there. I would have been attending that show on the 23rd of April, right?
Well, Mark, you can actually attend via Zoom.
Oh, good. Do you have to pay via? Do you have to pay via Zoom?
You pay via Cash App.
Kodaki, thank you so much, and thank you so much for what you do there as well. It's not easy to get up early in the morning and do a 3 hour plus show. You have some ardent supporters. They're there with you. You have people who admire you for your bravery and what you do. And I'm one of them who take my hats off to anybody, any soldier who's on the ground, as I say, soldier on the ground to stand up for what is right, what is just, and fight for real democracy. I don't necessarily agree with every little thing, and neither do I disagree with a lot. I do not disagree with a lot of things, but in the interest and in the spirit of democracy, I think you are doing a fantastic job, and I do mean that. You are there on the ground. Kadaki, thank you so much for your time. I know you have a musical program tomorrow where people like GT Rudgal, Brenda, Desiree, and the whole crew will be joining you tomorrow. You're the star boy on Saturday, man. Look at that smile on your face. Look at that smile.
Well, that's a major attraction, Mark, the smile. Thank you for having me. And in the same light, let me acknowledge that you have led the way and you continue to remain in the struggle. And
Thank you.
together we all shall aspire to make a difference in this dear country of ours.
Thank you so much, Kadaki. I appreciate your time. Give my regards to your family. God bless you. Yeah.
Good night.
Good night. All right, Kadaki Amsterdam. There, you guys got to go out and support his show. Support that event he has coming up on the 23rd of April. You can also take a look at it via Zoom, but it's always better in person, right? So do go out and support Kadaki Amsterdam. It's only $1,000, and you know how much is $1,000? Probably about $4.50 US, right? Support the brother. Support his show. He deserves it. He does a lot of work, a lot of good things by bringing the news and bringing events. And he's not afraid to speak up too. That's another thing, right? He doesn't talk from one side of his mouth. He doesn't, he's not one of them who boast and brag and blah, 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 blah. He tell it like it is. He talk the thing. Kadaki has contributed a lot. He's a teacher. A lot of good things. A lot of good things. Somebody saying no, 1,000 Guyana dollars is 10 US. Probably. I don't know, man. I'm getting a little old, right? But thank you all so much for this evening, right? It's been a wonderful 1 hour, 10 minutes so far with you guys. And I appreciate our guests, all of our guests. And, in life, sometimes we've just got to smile. We've just got to respect each other. And that's what it's about. That's what this show is about. Educating you guys as well about events. I know Monday we will get back to some very hardcore politics. But before we go, let me acknowledge some of you. Brenda Braithwaite, Lester Beckles, who just corrected me to say 1,000 is $10. We see Amir Abdullah. Assalamu alaikum to you, Amir. And then we have Lynette Nelson. Good evening to you as well. You guys are on the ball. Elisa Durant, how are you? And lots of other folks. I really wish I can run through the list and call all of your names. It's always a pleasure to have you all here. We've got to pray for that beautiful, beautiful country. All right, that beautiful country. Marlon Samuels and Nola Grant and all of you. And Miss Margaret Lawrence, I know you guys are in pain. The passing of Henry Rodney. Again, our condolences to his family members, his friends, his colleagues. May his soul rest in peace. Henry Rodney, indeed. Have a safe weekend. God bless you all. And don't be fooled by those who think that they can spread propaganda about one Guyana, propaganda about a so-called better society through prayers and these sort of things. We understand, yes, prayers. People pray in all different forms, man. All forms. We don't need politicians to be telling us about religious teachings and all these things. And these are the people, the PPP people, who want At one time, they wanted to take out prayers in schools and all manner of things. These big hypocrites, hypocrites they are. Practice what you preach. You're persecuting people, jailing people, locking people up wrongfully, all manner of things. Over 3,000 plus persons have lost their jobs since these vagabonds have been installed, all manner of things. But now, because it suits them, around this time when the Christians are fasting, the Hindus are fasting, the Muslims are fasting, so he thinks now is the time to score some cheap, unnecessary political points. Shame on these political vagabonds in the PPP. God bless you all. And like I've said, God bless our beautiful, beautiful country, Guyana. So long.
Well, the gas raise up and the grocery raise up. I think the government should do something about that. Because people taking a raise up top dog, you don't know. That all what I have to say. They should really do something about that. Well, the gas raise up and the grocery raise up. I think the government should do something about that. Because people taking a raise up top dog, you don't know. That all what I have to say. They should really do something about that.
Right about now, living in Guyana right about now, I am in Guyana no more. I think I will go and get me visa and I go fly out and I go to Burmese and I go relax myself because I am in Guyana no more. I am in Guyana. I gotta go Burmese.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
People, let's get together. Stop all this fussing and fighting. Let's love one another. You gotta help your mother, help your father, help your brothers, help your sisters, help your neighbors and your friends. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Everybody, y'all. One people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, yeah. we were separated. Now we are free. That's the way it should be. You gotta help your mother, help your father, help your sister, help your brothers, help your neighbors, and your friends. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, yeah. One people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, 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 yeah. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, yeah. One people, one nation, one destiny. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude like this, reggae's another day, y'all. Move, y'all. Uh-huh.